Do you want to be a race car driver someday?
Yeah,
And what series do you want to race in?
NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's real fun winning and taking the checkered flag around, and the real most fun is playing with my friends out here.
Hi, I'm Gavan Boschele, and you're watching the Derek Prenasiglio Show.
Hi everybody, it's Derek Prenasiglio, and welcome to the Derek Prenasiglio Show. This week, we have got our youngest guest to ever be on the show. He is the winningest driver, I believe, in the history of Millbridge Speedway. He has been the first and youngest winner in the Outlaw Extreme Midget Series. What else? You won your first sprint car race recently, USCS. Gavan Boschele, how you doing, man?
Good, how about you?
I'm good. You know, this is a little fun and surreal for me and you, because the first television interview you ever did was I interviewed you. And I still see that picture every once in a while pop up. You're like 5 years old. And I'm kneeling down on my knees, but amazing how far this has come. Thanks for the shirt, by the way, too.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
That's awesome. I see that you won your first sprint car race recently. How cool was that, man?
It's really cool. You know, talking to you kind of brings back all the memories from the quarter midget days when I was younger. And I kind of never would have thought I've come this far, but it's really, really cool working with this Belle and Brian and Eric and all them. They're really, really good team, and they just do a bunch of good stuff for me. So I can't thank them enough for the opportunity, and I think we're gonna keep clicking away this year and get some more sprint car races in.
Now the team you're driving for is a new team, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So they just started up, and I think Christopher wanted to start something dirt related, since he couldn't really run any stuff. So he started the sprint car team, and him and my dad kind of talked, and he put me in the sprint car, and then we kind of went off from there. We've ran I think eight races together, 9 or 10 races together, and then how that first wing finally came. And I think we've got it. Big A's kind of, I've had to learn, he's had to learn my driving style. I've kind of learned learn the sprint car, all the stuff that goes into it. So I think it's gonna be a good deal.
Now, when you say Chris, you mean Christopher Bell, right? Yeah. NASCAR Christopher Bell.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now you've worked with him, obviously, and with the Kemenoff family. They've been around a while. The Swindells too, and who else? And now Lauren Rainier. You're putting yourself in some really good company to groom you.
Yeah, you know, we've known the Swindells since I was 9. I think they came out to the quarter midget track and the Brickyard. They came out there, and they would watch me race, and then after that they wanted to start a little, I think me and my dad talked, they wanted to start a little development program. And then we just kind of ran a restricted micro at Millbridge, first ever test session. My first ever race was the Tulsa Shootout in a restricted micro back in, I think, 2019.
Your very first race?
Yes,
was the Tulsa Shootout?
Yes, and the restricted.
Never, and all you had done was practice?
Yes, I think 30 practice, maybe I don't know how many, 30 practice laps, something like that.
That was it?
Yeah, me and Chase Capri were out there making laps before the race. So, yeah, I think it was 2019. Then after that, we actually didn't do too bad. I was leading the heat race. We had a restart, and someone spun me out. And then I was one spot out of the transfer spot, and in the B main, so kind of sucked. But we came back, or we didn't come back. We came back next year, but later on that year, we ran a bunch of A-class swing stuff.
Yeah.
A-class non. We kind of ran the whole division, and we ran literally everywhere we could. I think that was one of the most years I've raced out in a long time, because I just moved up the quarter division, so I wasn't used to racing that much every single weekend, and I was still a young kid, so I was racing every single weekend in the micro stuff. We were on the road with Piglet, we call him Piglet, Brad.
Yeah, Brad Tunney.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
I love him. Yeah, so I've known him since I was younger too. He's done some outlaw kart stuff with me, and I've been working with him forever. And he would be on the road pulling the motor home. Kevin would be out there sometimes, and it would just be me and my dad, Piglet and Kevin, just clicking away.
Wow, just unbelievable, the guys that you're surrounded with too. But that first, I'm still trying to get over the first race being the Tulsa Shootout. What were you thinking going into that? I mean, you obviously knew that this was huge for the types of cars you were racing, right?
So I wasn't too familiar. I was an asphalt kid at the time, so I didn't really know anything with the Tulsa Shootout. I wasn't really familiar. I knew what it was.
You had a bunch of outlaw kart starts and all that, right?
But I kind of took a break from outlaw karts for a little bit, and then kind of went back into quarter midgets and kind of went the opposite direction after that. I went towards the dirt world, and I kind of started learning. I knew what the Tulsa Shootout was and the Chili Bowl, but I wasn't like very, very familiar with it. And then I started learning about it before the rim. I was like, oh, okay, this is a pretty big event. And someone told me, Kevin was like, yeah, this is the biggest race of the year for the micro stuff. I was like, oh, okay. So I was kind of walked to the building. I was like, wow, this is real deal. And the worst was, I was only running one class at a time, so I had to wait around literally maybe 2 days at a time. I would wait for 2 days, then race once. It was awful, but the experiences there is so great. The building, the atmosphere, everything is just amazing.
There's hundreds of cars. Like they say, the Chili Bowl is huge for the midgets, but like the shootout is like twice the car count, right?
Yeah, there was I want to say like 1,300 cars this year. There's like 400 cars in each. 400 cars was like the 403 cars was in the non-wing class. It was massive.
And then you just recently won that race back in January, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh my! And how many years later was that? What, 3?
Yeah, it's because I ran 2020 and 2021, and then it's 2020, 2022, 2023.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Your first race is the Tulsa Shootout, and then 3 years later you come back to win the damn thing.
Yeah, I never made a show. So like we ran. So next year we came back after 2019. We came back and ran all four classes and made all the qualifiers. Every single qualifier, and did not make a single show. Next year, did the same exact thing, and I didn't make any races, didn't start. And the next year after that, it's kind of like I was sitting really, really good. The A-class non-wing, I was high point man, and I was sitting on the pole. I was sitting on the front row. I started pole, and then we retired the A-class wing, and then the outlaw non-wing because we were running 2 cars. We didn't want to use the motor up and stuff. And the outlaw wing, I started 14th in the LCQ, and I made a last lap pass on these 2 guys to take the transfer spot. So it was really cool. I mean, I was dead nervous starting on the front row. I was pretty nerve wracking, but once I got in the car and kind of hit the track, I was just kind of got the adrenaline and started clicking away.
Got in the rhythm.
Yeah,
that's so cool, man. Well, congrats, man. That was big. You see, my first introduction to you was at Millbridge Speedway.
Yeah.
I just remember just seeing this little blue and silver number 5 go-kart running around. This cute little kid with his long blonde hair. And my ex-wife at the time, she was just like, look how adorable this little guy is. And she got a picture with you. And then I just watched you race.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised at how you would perform, too, because I was standing there with one of my car owners at the time, and he thought it was so funny that you were just 6, I think, 5 or 6 at the time. You'd go out and you'd feel the racetrack and feel how dry it was going to get. It was neat. It was entertaining.
Yeah, I probably don't even know what I was doing. I was probably seeing like the older guys do it and be like, oh, let me try it out. I was there. Me and my friends. I've known. I think Brent Cruz and Hunter Cone.
That kid can wheel the shit out of a car.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Oh, my God. That kid is good.
We
He
grew up
really
racing together since Millbridge, since it first started. So we've kind of just, me and him have grown together a lot and good friendship. And I've always remember him. He had the skeleton suit, bright orange car, but it was all fun. Me and Hunter would always hang out. I remember I had like there was like a news video, I think, Chris Clark. I did a news thing and Hunter was in it, and I had my long blonde hair, my cutoff shirt on. It was
funny.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I remember watching so many times you running in the outlaw cart, and for you though, like you per se didn't come from a racing family. Like your dad didn't race, your grandfather didn't race. Like how did you stumble into the racing?
So my dad, he was not into full football, but he was kind of like familiar with racing. Like everyone's kind of like familiar with racing. So he lived in PA, so he knew what Lernerville was and stuff like that. My grandpa went out to Lernerville sometimes, but we drove by Millbridge one day, and I was so young. I'm trying to picture, but I was probably 3 and a half, 4, and we drove out to Millbridge, and
3.5, 4.
Yeah. I remember sitting on the little the bricks are still there, like on the side where you watch. And I remember sitting there, and then there's white tires. There's nothing, like just real quiet, and just not much people there. And I just remember seeing the little go-karts go. I'm like, hey, Dad, I like that. And he's like, all right, buddy. And he's like, well, we'll see if we can get you a little cart and run around. And I'm like, all right. And then after that, I remember driving. We went home, and then I don't remember how we got to like around the yard car. I just remember him. He met Nick Hoffman through Jeremy and Ashley, the track owners now.
He's another great dirt driver.
Yeah. And he was still building all. He was still. This is that I don't know. This when I was 4, so it might have been like
2012 or 13.
Yeah,
right?
2012 or 13. Yeah, so. He was still building his chassis and stuff like that in his garage, and he brought out the little yard cart to my call sack in my neighborhood, and Tyler Lewis would have a string attached to the kill switch, and I would follow him around for so long, and I would be chasing him. I barely remember this, but if I got too close to him, he would pull the kill switch so I wouldn't hit him.
Right.
And him and Nick would just coach me around. I remember him, Tyler Lewis and David Lewis. They were always with me. And then I remember I made my first. We went out. We bought a cart. I think it was like a little. It was blue and silver number 5. Put some logos on it. We went out and just made laps and laps around Millbridge. And there's a YouTube. My cousin made a little YouTube video. I mean, my cousin, my dad, and he would film my test sessions and like some of my races. So it's pretty cool.
No, yeah, I remember. Your dad hired me once a bunch of years back to put a video together for you for marketing, which I actually have to thank your dad for that, because I was in the middle of jobs and trying to find another gig, and he kind of, he come along and asked me to do that work, which definitely helped put some money in my pocket while I was trying to find a new job. But so you went from the not the micro sprints, I'm sorry, that you started in outlaw carts and then went over to pavement doing quarter midgets.
Yes.
So, and from what I remember too, you were a terror in quarter midgets too. You were like a factory driver for some company, right?
Yeah. So I did outlaw carts first, and you had to be 5 to like even sniff a quarter midget. So as soon as I turned 5, we went out to NCQMA, and we made laps with a guy named Paul Platt. And we ran forever and ever around there, and then we finally made my first race. And I think I don't know if I won my first race or not. I can't. I was still so young, but I remember winning like really, really soon, and I really liked it because I think I was winning, so I liked it. So we started sticking with it. We were doing both. We were kind of switching between the outlaw, and they raced on weekly Wednesdays and the dirt stuffs, and the NCQMA race on Saturdays, so we could kind of balance it out. And I remember just going out there with Paul and my dad, and we just make a ton of laps, practicing, and then we went out, won a few races. And then as I got older, we started going to like the Dixie Shootout events, like the USAC events and stuff like that.
The Grand National.
And my first USAC win was at Metro Atlanta, Cummins, Georgia. Real bank track. I remember it, and it was in Junior Animal. I won't forget. It was real cool, really, really cool track. That was my first ever national win.
It's a tough division too. Junior Animal.
That was when I was racing with like Carson Hocevar and all those other guys.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who else. Ryan Repko.
Okay.
Me and Ryan, actually speaking of Ryan Repko, he would come out there and teach me how to pass. So like Paul would have him go out, and I would start passing back and forth with him to practice passing. So yeah, it's really cool.
God, it's amazing. You know what I find really funny is that you technically started driving at 3. At 3.
Yeah.
Now, there are people out there that don't even have an early memory at 3. Like, what are some of the earliest memories of you driving? Is it hopping in the car for the first time, or it wasn't?
I remember. I honestly don't. I barely faintly remember hopping in the yard cart around. I just seen videos of me. I remember getting in it and just like following some dude, and that's literally all I remember. And then I barely remember how I got started in the court. Like, it's kind of like, I don't sound offensive, but like, it's just I was so young. I just kind of did it as like fun. Like, me and my dad just kind of having fun. I don't think he thought nothing of it. I don't think I thought nothing. I was so young. And then when I kind of got older, I was like still having fun and like just not thinking any of it. But like, it's kind of gone a long way.
Well, at that age, your brain is still developing too. You're figuring out what you like, what you don't like, your memories. They're all kind of falling into play. But God, look how far you've taken it.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot believe how far you've... I mean, I remember watching you in just the beginner box stocks, and now you're winning national midget races and sprint car races.
It's definitely cool. It's a really cool feeling, I've in a lot of it's really cool seeing all these kids that have kind of that they're obviously a lot of them are older than me now, so it's kind of cool. Like Jake Garcia, I ran with him a lot. And
my nephew.
Yeah, Michael.
You raced with my nephew. Yep, that was cool.
It was a bunch of other people, and kind of meet back together with them. I saw all of them. I met back being Carson, he's on the Chevy Chevy program too. So I see him when we're working out sometimes, out testing and stuff like that. So it's cool.
It's amazing, like some of the guys that you've run with over the years. But
yeah.
When you do go and race on the weekend, what's the favorite that you're gonna run? What's the favorite car that you like to run more than anything?
I love the sprint car right now. Like
yeah.
I love that thing. Like it's so fun. I love both, but I think I like dirt just a little bit better since I kind of grew up on it. So I just love the format of like the dirt stuff. Like it just like flows so good. I love all the events and dirt stuff like that too. I just don't know the pavement side that well yet. So I think if I had to choose my favorite one of all time, I think it'd be the sprint car.
The sprint car. It's right now, from all of your outlaw card experience, because you've run every division in the outlaw cards, from box stocks up to opens. Like that sprint car must feel like it's moving a little bit slower compared to your outlaw cart, right?
Yeah, when I first got in the micro, that's the biggest difference. There's no shocks on the outlaw cart, and there's a lot of horsepower and no shocks and very light.
Yeah,
and
you get rattled around.
Yeah, so first thing I got in the micro, I was like, dang, this is nice. Like feels like I'm riding the Cadillac. And it's kind of like it hits a bump and just kind of like it's real nice.
Because the bumps don't hurt you.
Yeah, the sprint car's even better. But it's not better when you hit the rut and then start flipping over. That's when it starts to hurt.
Have you flipped the sprint car?
No.
Oh, okay.
Knock on wood. No.
Right. You've been upside down before. I know that. I've seen that.
Yeah. The midgets tumble hurt. Like Chili Bowl, I stepped on it and hit the curb, and some dude, or when I flipped over, Blake Collin was coming in, and his tire hit like the top of my cage and kind of rung my bell a little bit. But it's definitely like kind of not a forgiving sport. It's definitely dangerous.
But what a great training ground though for you, because starting, in my opinion, outlaw carts are probably the best training ground you can have to move up the ladder, because look at the talent that has come out of outlaw carts. I mean, Kyle Larson, Rico, just Buddy Kofoid, Jesse Caldwell. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. I think the best part about those things is that it teaches you that quick movement under your butt. So by the time you get to a sprint car where it's got the suspension,
everything's slowed down.
Everything is is it dampered or slowed down. Now you've done that. Now you've recently started running a late model too.
Yes.
Okay. No offense to late model racing, but it's got to feel like you're going in slow motion.
Yeah, that's for sure. So it's definitely. So I kind of hopped in it, and I struggle a little bit. I'm just kind of like still trying to learn it, and I think that they asked me like, why won't you drive it? Like they're trying to get me to drive it in harder and like kind of just hustle it more. I'm like how do you drive a sprint car? You're not hustling this thing. I was like, I don't know. He's like, you can get it sideways. I was like, yeah, but you're not supposed to be sideways in this thing. That's the thing. But it's difficult. It's definitely been a process. But I've been starting to drive a little more of those things and trying to learn them.
The weight is big, right? Just trying to get it slowed down and all of that. What does it feel like to you? Like they say a Cadillac, but you don't even have your. Do you even have your learner's permit right now?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
I just got it a few months ago.
I think
back in February or March, early March.
It's hysterical. You'll drive a 500-600 horsepower sprint car.
Yeah. My mom gets mad at me because I have to get hours on this app to be able to get my license. So I have to come back in a year and I have to have like 60 hours of driving before I can get my license. I have to log in on an app. So I have to drive my mom's car sometimes, and I'll like drive around, go fast, and she'll get like, Gavin, stop. So
get
mad at me.
She has to ride with you, obviously.
Yeah. You have to be with like an adult or with someone that had their license for more than 5 years.
Dude, after you race on the track, driving on the street feels like nothing.
Yeah,
it's slow motion.
People tell me like, I don't know how to drive. Like it's so scary. I'm like, it's really not that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. I think that it's just so funny, though, that here you are racing sprint cars and they won't even let you drive a minivan.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's what everyone asks me. Every single person that's not really like, oh, you drive race cars, so do you even have your license yet? Do you have to have your license to do that? I'm like, no, I don't have my license, but I can still drive a race car.
Yeah, you know what I used to get when I was your age, trying to race go-karts? The first question was, how fast do you go?
Yeah, that one. Yep. How
Isn't
fast
that annoying?
How fast do you go, and do you crash? Have you
Yeah.
ever gotten hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three main questions. Have you gotten hurt, crashed yet, and how fast do you go?
I can say yes to all three, and speed, I don't know. I always tell them, when I'm beating everyone else, I'm going fast enough.
I tell them, I said, I tell them I don't know, I go pretty fast. That's what I say every single time. They ask me how fast. Some people ask me how fast, like the sprint car and late model stuff goes. So they go, I mean, it goes fast. That's what I just say every single time. So
That's cool. Oh my god! And then probably when they look you up and see what you raced, they're like, "Holy cow!"
I'll show some people some videos, like video footage, and be like, "Oh, you raced? Oh wow, it's pretty fast, and it's a pretty big car." I'm like, "Yeah."
When my nephew Michael, his grandmother, went to go see him race for the first time,
She's freaking out.
They went to Oswego Speedway, a 5/8 of a mile track,
Oh,
where you're doing 130 around.
Holy crap!
And she was, the old Italian grandmother. Oh my God, I can't believe what they're doing. It's so dangerous. And it was like that. But this year, is your first year running a late model, right? You didn't run anything last year, right?
I ran very few, like very limited amount, like probably not even that many, just like 5 or 6. Really this year is kind of like the year like that I've kind of started like running them a lot more. I ran all the speed weeks. I've ran some Cars Tour races.
The pro late model,
late model, yeah. I think we're gonna run. I think we're gonna run the super like towards like the end of the year and stuff like that. But I'm doing a lot of kind of dabbing my feet in the pavement stuff now.
Okay, so who are you driving for in the late model stuff?
Rackley War.
Rackley War.
My
okay.
the next race is Tri-County.
Okay. So DiBenedetto's driving for them in the truck.
Yeah,
he's another outlaw car graduate.
There's a lot of people that are in Cup now that are dirt kids. Like I never realized how many of them are dirt guys.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them.
Yeah,
man. A lot of them. Tyler Reddick too. Yep. He came from outlaw carts. He drove for SKE chassis back in the day. Have you met Matt DiBenedetto?
I think when I was younger, I met him at. I feel like me and my dad met him when I was younger. Mm-hmm. I haven't met him recently though.
Okay. Well, he's driving for the truck team. Yeah. I'm sure he can give you some great advice because he's got quite a few late model wins himself. And the outlaw cart stuff. Yeah. So you guys would kind of be. Yeah. You'll be buddy. Like, and he's a super nice guy too. Yeah. That's the good part. So now, in late models, and you're with Team Chevy now, right?
Yes.
So now, how is that going? How did that all start? Get us all up to speed on that.
So I think it was last year around April this time, kind of April, May. Lauren was talking to my dad, and kind of we called him, and he kind of my dad told me, he's like, all right, we're going to have an interview with Josh Wise and Lauren Rainier, and we went to the Trackhouse Racing area because that's where they were at. That's where they were during the time. Mm-hmm. And I had to sit down and talk with like Josh and everything. He asked me everything I do, like what I race. Like he was starting to get, then kind of just chatted up everything, kind of what my goals, what I want to do and stuff like that. And then after that, he started getting into detail, like he asked what time I go to bed, what I eat, how I work out, like all my like regimen, like how I run it all, any endurance stuff. Like,
was this testing your discipline?
No, this seeing like what I need to work on, or like anything that like I've done already or not. He's like, all right, well, we'll get you up to speed. He's like, asked me if I did any like sensory training, stuff like that, and it was really cool. Just seeing him get like kind of when you start moving up the ranks. I didn't realize how tough the regimen is that these guys do. So. It's definitely pretty cool. You
got to be in good shape. Mm-hmm. You mentally too, because doing hundreds of laps at a time starts to wear on you. I mean, I've tried doing just an iRacing for I tried doing a 100-lap race one time at Bristol, and I would say about 30 or 40 laps in, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this is over yet?
Yeah, so, it's tiring. You gotta be there mentally and physically, so it's tough.
What do you think you have to adjust the most when you hop in the late model? Because obviously it's a completely different animal than the sprint car and a different driving style. Yeah. So what are some of those things that they always keep drilling into you or making you concentrate on?
I think the main thing is like my feeling. Like when I kind of come from like if I'll go from the sprint car one weekend to the late model the next weekend, I kind of like sit in the seat and I'll kind of just like get a feeling of it. It'll take me a lap and then I'll just kind of get back in my rhythm. I don't really have any like feeling or like regimen that I like, or like thing that I do to like kind of get back in the swing of things. I kind of just like I get in and I kind of just know, like I get a feeling like in my butt and my feet, and kind of just know what I need to do in my head. Kind of just takes me 2-3 laps and I'm just right back up to speed.
Is it different racing with the late model, having all of that body work around you too?
That's the toughest thing. I've kind of like, it's tough for me to like figure out my like how like
your right side.
Right side. Left side's all right, but like kind of just like the surrounding of the car. It's still kind of weird since I'm an open wheel guy, so I'm used to like looking right, looking left, seeing all those, seeing the tire, can see everything. So
right,
it's different.
You've got so much more car around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So they provide. What's the next late model race for you? Are you gonna run North Wilkesboro?
No.
Why not?
We were supposed to, but we're running I think Tri-County is not this. I think it's like 3 weekends. It's like
okay,
somewhere around there, somewhere in middle of May, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
yeah.
Tri-County is where you're gonna run next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You'll like. Have you ever run there or anything?
Last year in the pro late model, I ran there once.
Okay. Have you ever tried a pavement midget? You ever done
Never.
that?
No.
Oh.
Never. My dad doesn't. He's not a fan of them. He won't.
Really?
Yeah. He says they're kind of a little bit dangerous. So.
Pavement midgets?
That and the non-wing sprint cars.
Non-wing, I can understand the non-wing
yeah.
sprint cars because of not having the wing, and
You're going fast.
You're going fast, and you crash a lot harder without the wing.
Oh yeah.
But the pavement midget is not that bad. You know what? You know what I got to do? I got to put a call into one of the guys in NEMA to run you in a winged pavement midget up there. So
really?
Yeah.
They seem cool. They seem really cool.
They're a blast, man.
Yeah.
And they've got the NEMA lights up there, and then they also have the full NEMA midget, so which is like a USAC midget just with a wing on top.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
We got to find a car for you to run. So
I've seen videos of them. They get around there pretty fast.
Tim Bertrand, if you're listening, I got a talented kid for you to drive. So yeah, he's like the big car owner up there. Actually, he's the guy who helped out
Swindells.
So the Swindells win the Chili Bowl this year. He's been supporting them. He's a NEMA guy.
Yeah.
So you'd like some of those tracks up in the Northeast.
Really?
Thompson.
I've heard of
Stafford.
Thompson. Yep, I've heard of that one.
Seekonk is a great midget track too.
Okay.
A lot of side by side racing there.
Yeah.
You dig that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Have you ever you haven't ventured much up into the Northeast, have you?
No, not really. There's not really much. I don't think I've really been up there at all. Really, no.
No, you gotta check out some of the racing up there.
It seems cool.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So now, being that you're moving up the ladder, what are obviously Lauren Rainier is working with you. He's been on the show here before. Great guy. He's got tons of history in the sport. What are some of the things that he works with you with? Because he is like driver development.
Yeah. So he's kind of like the setup guy. Like he kind of like gets me in like the swing of things, like the pavement stuff. Like he kind of got me like set up with people, like the right people, and like kind of helped me out, like got us in the right path. So him and Josh Wise and Scott Speed, Josh Wise and Scott Speed are more on the driver development side, kind of helping you get better. Josh does a lot of workout stuff. We have a trainer, Dan Jansen, at the tech center. He does a lot of work. He does all the workout stuff. I usually go in every single day during summertime, and he'll send me like a schedule and stuff like that, and we'll do like the workouts at the gym, and then sometimes we'll go on runs at like the Davidson College or like trail runs somewhere. But I haven't been able to go because I'm in school. Mom, let me go homeschool, please. But her and my dad won't let me go homeschool, so I kind of have to go to school, and they're always on me about schoolwork. But it sucks. But I like it during summertime because I'm not kind of doing my own thing, and like I don't have to worry about any of my schoolwork or anything like that.
That was another thing I was going to bring up, is that you still go to school. You're not homeschooled or anything like that, so you still have to physically go to class every day, which, in my opinion, it is good for you guys because it kind of teaches you those social skills too at a young age that you don't get, being homeschooled or anything like that. Also, how to be around other people, manners. I think that's very helpful that you're still going to school. But yeah, your parents are right. You go get your education, at least get your high school graduation done with, and then from there you can concentrate a little more on racing. But yeah, my father drilled that into my head too, because that's all I wanted to do was race too.
Same here. Yeah.
So I get that. But with that school life now and racing life, are there things that you're missing, say like a school dance or a prom, that like those things that you're gonna miss out on because you've got to go do technically your job?
Yeah, my mom gets on me about like going to like prom or something, but I could really care less, honestly. I don't care. I hang out I hang out I have like a group of friends that I hang out with like when I'm here on the weekends all the time, and I usually hang out with them a lot, and we have fun all the time. So I don't really care about like the school dance or like the prom. I don't really go to any of that.
Nothing
I went
like
to
that.
homecoming this year, but that's about it. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't really. My mom's like, well, what if you missed this? What if you missed that? I was like,
Oh,
so
well.
it's whatever. Yeah.
That's funny. That's you know what? I kind of understand what you mean, because growing up in a racing family, it didn't bother me to miss a prom or a school dance or anything like that.
Yeah.
But what the next thing for you, obviously, is, you just said going to Tri-County. What's the next dirt race for you?
Sprint car. Not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Where at?
Milton, Florida.
Milton, Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what do? Do you fly down or you drive down with the team?
Fly down. Fly
Okay.
down, yeah.
You just Milton, Florida. I don't know which track is down there in Milton.
It's kind of like, it's in the, not really in the middle of nowhere, but like it's kind of like out towards like far, kind of near, like I think it's near Alabama, like Mobile.
Okay.
I think so.
And these are
I think that's the one.
360s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you run a 410 yet?
Not yet. The end of the year I will. I will
really?
run a 410. Yeah, we're still getting into 410 at the end of the year.
Are you ever gonna make a World of Outlaws start?
Well, I'm not old enough yet.
How old do you have to be?
16.
You have to be 16 to run a World of Outlaws sprint
Yeah.
car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing okay right now in 360s.
Yeah.
And, oh my God.
I'm still pretty limited on like what I can do, the age restriction wise. So.
You're old enough to run an ARCA car though, right? I thought it was 15 was the minimum age for an ARCA car.
I think so, but it's like certain tracks, like it's
Right.
under. I forgot. I don't
That's
know.
right. They can't run like the big tracks like New Hampshire
Yeah.
or Dover or anything like that. Would you do it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, is that the plan, to try some ARCA races?
I want to. Yeah, it seems that stuff seems pretty cool. I want to go to Cup, obviously. So, whatever path it takes me, it's kind of the journey. Whatever the process is, the journey. So.
Dude, learn all you can.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, absorb it like a sponge.
Yeah.
You know, I know you don't like school, but use this as your school. Like,
Yeah.
do you get to work on the cars at all, or turn any wrenches or anything?
Not. I'm not. I don't really learn anything about that. I promise you, if I worked on the car, it would not go fast at all. So I kind of leave it to those guys. I mean, I'll help them out. Like I don't really do much, but
Dude,
like
you start by watching and learning.
Yeah,
really. That's how you start. And I tell you what, learn to work on them a little bit here and there, because that'll help you along the way. That'll help you, with understanding like shocks, and torsion bars, and all of that. Those little things,
Yeah.
dude. That's knowledge. And once
Yeah.
you learn something, they can't take it away from you.
Yeah.
So that's the good part to remember.
I've learned like kind of like the shocks, like what they do, torsion bar, like all the other Jacob's ladder, like what else, like the shocks, like kind of rebound stuff like that, like what I have to do like to make the car go faster, and like kind of like feedback and tell them what to do, because you obviously need to tell them what the car needs to do to go faster, or what it needs or something like that. So I kind of like know how to explain it to him, but I'm just not quite the handyman when it comes to it, like tuning up the car or something like that. But I try to like learn as much as I can and take it in.
Dude, I'm telling you, just watch and learn. That's how it all starts, and because that's what I did with my dad in the garage, and just copied what he did.
Yeah.
And if I did it wrong, he'd come over and he'd yell at me, obviously, like
Yeah.
most dads do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then he would show me how to fix it.
Yeah.
But that's cool. So besides the racing, what else do you like to do, like in your leisure time, like when you get off of school and it's just a regular night at home? Are you playing video games, playing sports? What are you doing?
I'm not much of a video game type of guy. I mean, I'll get on iRacing every once in a while, but I usually go home. I'll either play like I'll go work out. So like sometimes like I'll go to like the gym and go work out with my friends, or I'll go like play football and stuff like that, or play basketball like at the gym too. So usually go home and I'll play like work out, play golf, play football, play basketball, kind of any of the above, or just kind of chill out. if I'm feeling tired, just kind of lay down and just watch TV or something like that.
You know, I think it's kind of cool though. You brought me some swag here.
Oh, yeah.
Some pretty cool stuff. First off, I love the hoodie. Thank you for the hoodie.
No
I
problem.
think that's great. Sponsored by NASCAR Rivals.
Yes.
That's the new video game, right? I
Yeah,
love this.
Nintendo,
I love this
yeah.
shirt here. Like it looks like the Nintendo Switch.
They took the picture from the midget and then put it on like the game because that's what NASCAR Rivals is, only Switch. So
That's great.
it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. And man, that's huge though to get a support deal from NASCAR themselves or something associated with NASCAR.
Yeah.
Because then you also have sponsorship from a video game company too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, motorsport game. So I think that was back in 2020, I want to say, and they've been great to me ever since I've joined them. So can't thank them enough.
So what other, you got Team Chevy, the NASCAR Rivals game, the motorsports game. What other sponsors and support do you have?
K1, my mom, my dad, obviously the biggest one, and then Schroth, Schubert, HMS.
Yeah, get a list.
I have a whole list on my phone.
Go ahead,
actually.
bring it out.
Bring it out.
I know this is what the kids that I are getting used to. That happen to remember.
Yeah, I was on a podcast with Tom Baker, and he.
I know Tom. He's a great guy.
He told me he's like, every single time you're in here, you need to write this down, and every single time, motorsport games, NASCAR Heat, and Ignition, Rival, Chevy, Nintendo Switch, K1, Swindell Speed Lab, Molecule, Schroth, MPI, and then all the Chevy guys, Josh Wise, Lauren Rainier, and all them guys, and Scott Speed.
It's amazing. God, at 15, you know what I was what I was doing at 15? I was just starting to race go-karts.
Really, that's how it is. What my friend, he just started racing last year, and he's kind of like a lot of people now are like kind of like it's starting earlier and earlier. Like it's kind of just everyone's just starting to get young. Like there's kids younger than me now that are already into racing, running midgets now. So it's cool.
Oh, don't worry, because listen, I was you at one point. I was the young kid racing, and everyone was looking at me. And then I got older, and I'm like, "Who's this young kid coming along?" So you're gonna see another young kid come along too, and you're gonna be banging wheels with him too, and it's gonna go that way.
It's cool. It's cool to see all the other generation. I mean, I'm still pretty young, but like all these other new kids and the young kids that are coming up and just kind of like making their way. It's really, really neat.
What about the veterans? Who are some of the guys that you look up to, or who are the ones that you want to race with someday, or who are the ones that you have gotten to race with? Because I know from being a young kid growing up, like watching some of my heroes, and then when I had the chance to drive, like here I am racing with them, like wow.
I got to race probably the coolest that everyone probably knows: Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, all those guys. But I really look up to Christopher. He does a lot for me, and he's kind of been with me ever since I was kind of started the micro stuff, and he's kind of taught me a lot, mentored me, and he's been a big help.
I've raced with Kyle Larson before, but I don't know if you can call it racing. Like, I was on one side of the track and he was on the other. So. One time we were battling for the lead. That's when I had that big flip at Millbridge.
Yeah.
You were there that
night. Yep.
Yeah. Man.
I've seen a lot of big flips at Millbridge. A lot.
Well, I think I broke the altitude record there that night.
Yeah.
That was a bad one. I just tried to ride the top around to take the lead on the high side, and I just caught a rut, and she just took off on me. I was so bummed too because that was not a brand new car, but it was only the fourth race on that RFC chassis. I got it from Mike Wheeler. Yeah, you know who Mike Wheeler is, right? I got it from out in Oregon. The thing was, it drove like a dream, and then I just wadded it up, and I was
chassis destroyed.
Sucked so bad.
There's been a lot of flips there. I remember I was younger and I saw Chaz Woodward fly straight out of the park, hanging on the side of a tree.
I know.
And I was like, oh my god!
He broke his foot, I think.
Yeah,
in that wreck.
Yeah. It was like, wow. Like, and there's like a drop off too. I'm pretty sure. So he's like hanging on the side, like, wow.
I watched Chaz go off turn 1 out into the woods, and then I also saw Tyler Reddick flip out of the place off of turn 2. And that was before the fence was in.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
There's pictures of it. Ask Randy, not Randy, ask Jeremy to show you. I think he's got it somewhere. There's
I want to see it.
He flipped out of the place, and you know how it drops off like 30 feet?
Yeah,
Well, he flipped out of the place, and that was before they had the trees. It was before they had the fence, and it was all just trees there. So he went into the trees, and the bumper of the cart got hooked on a branch, and he was hanging in the cart like
Oh my God.
I would say about 10, 15 feet off the ground because he went
Wow.
off the edge and then the cart hooked on the branch and then that's where he was hanging.
That's crazy.
Yeah, ask Jeremy. It was a non-wing. We were doing non-wing outlaw kart racing that night. It was just something to try, and he went around the outside of somebody, and I think it was Max McLaughlin or Mike or Adam Welch.
There's another one I raced up too. Yeah.
And caught his right rear with the left front and just took off.
That's crazy. I remember when they first started putting up the micros, like kind of when it started getting big, some dude flipped out of the park. I don't know if you remember there for that down the back stretch, and he flipped out of the park down over the trees, and then he got out of the car. He's like, oh, he's holding his crotch. He's like, oh my God. And Jeremy's like, are you all right, man? Like, are you good? He's like, oh my God, this hurt. My balls hurt. He's like,
yeah, I've had a couple of those.
The medic's checking him out. He's like, is everything all right with you? He's like, no, I'm fine. He's walking away. He's like, it was pretty
that
funny.
sub belt hurts sometimes if you catch it the right way.
I make sure not to keep it too tight, so it doesn't hurt if I flip. Yeah.
Trying to protect everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, dude, this has been fun, man. It really has. I hope you've been having a good time.
Yeah,
This
always.
is great. Look, I think it's great what you're doing. I really do. The other thing too is, man, be safe out there.
Yeah,
you know, because sprint cars, midgets, it's definitely it's a hard sport. That's for sure.
It's tough.
Yeah, the stock car racing is. I think you definitely have a future in that. For sure.
I hope.
I mean, there's guys that are already signed by teams. Isn't Brent with
Toyota?
He's with Toyota,
Yeah,
right? And he has some support from Trackhouse too.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got Team Chevy. Like you are like 15-year-old kids with this incredible corporate sponsors and backing and everything. Your dad's got to be so proud.
Yeah, he does a lot for me, and I think talk about safety. He makes sure everything. He'll go out of his way and spend anything to make sure my belts are right, my helmet, my Hans. Like, he'll make sure everything's like that's his most important thing, is if I'm safe in the car and like everything's up to date, and make sure everything's mandated and stuff like that to make sure I don't get hurt.
Now, the other guy you're working with is Lauren Rainier.
Yep.
I know Lauren, great guy. What is it like working with him? What is some of the stuff that he is telling you, or he is instructing you how to do? Because he is more like a guide too.
Yeah. So he's always at the track, and he's always texting me, stuff like that. Like after I won the sprint car race, he's like, "G Money, good job, buddy." And I text him a lot, and he kind of like he sends me like videos to watch and stuff like that, and he'll like help me out, like encourage me a little bit and stuff like that. So he's a cool guy. He's funny dude too. Tells me a lot of good stories, and he's a good dude.
He's worked with every legend you can think of. Like Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison, Davey Allison.
Yeah.
Like he's been around.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the talent that he has found over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, like Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
And
he does a good job.
Yeah, just a lot of those guys that he has discovered. Davey over the years. Stick with Lauren and listen to what he has to say.
He's a good guy.
All that. But we are getting close to the end of the show. Where can we find you? Like, where can we search for you on the internet? I'm sure you've got Facebook and Twitter pages and all of that kind of stuff. Where can we find the world of Gavan Boschele?
My merch website is Gavan Boschele, and then my Instagram is Gavan Race. My Facebook is it's Gavan Boschele, my Facebook, and then Watch Gavan Race is my Facebook, sorry, and then Gavan Boschele is my Twitter.
Watch Gavan Race has been around for years.
Oh yeah,
I remember.
That thing has been around forever.
How many followers you got now? Do you know? I mean,
let me check.
Yeah, let's check. Let's see.
We have I'm not on Facebook that much. I only do my Instagram and my Twitter stuff. So. Instantly check.
So that's not you liking my stuff then?
No, I'm probably not. It might be my dad, because he does some of that stuff too. I have 13K on Instagram.
13,000 followers
on Instagram, and then
I don't even have 3,000 followers.
And then Twitter.
I don't even know if I have 300.
You probably do.
Oh God.
Then Twitter is
Watch Gavan Race. I remember that.
Twitter is 10K.
10,000.
Yep.
God, look at
the Twitter is the Twitter is Watch Gavan Race. I remember that because I would always have the little when I was younger. I'd always remember I'd have the little blue thing the blue bird next to my on my back of my suit that said "Watch Gavan Race." And it was hilarious. So
That, and I remember they had the Transformers on the
yep,
side of your
Transformers. I had I had that transform, and then I had Halos in the quarter midget. I had a Halo guy in the quarter midget, Transformers in the go kart.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, I was loving it.
I know, and I look back at some of those pictures, and then seeing you as a little kid, because I even I snapped a really good shot I sent to your mom one time of you in the box stock. You've got the blue helmet on.
Yeah.
And you're looking like out of the corner of your eye like this.
Yeah,
I got that shot.
It's funny. Well, time flies. That's all I gotta say.
And you're still young.
Yeah,
you're saying that now, and you still have another 30 more years ahead of you to drive a race car.
I'm hoping I have a long time, but it's definitely, I even know time does fly. It's been really, really cool, and it's felt like felt like a long journey, but it's felt really, really quick. Kind of just like
a blur.
Yeah, it's just snap of the finger, and I'm kind of it goes by, the races go by so, race weekends go by so fast, race years go by so fast. It's just, you don't really notice, and you don't want to take it for granted.
No, you don't. Are there any race cars out there that you haven't tried that yet that you wanna?
One race car that I really want to try is the super late models, and the super late models, on the dirt stuff, the modified stuff like that. Those things seem pretty cool.
Right, the ones where they got the big 410 motors in them,
the dirt
the
ones.
Lucas Oil dirt late model ones. Okay, Jonathan Davenport style. Yeah, they look like a lot of fun. We gotta get you to try a pavement midget or something or a super modified. You like a super modified?
Yeah.
That's badass too.
Yeah, I would run anything really. If I can, my dad always tells me if someone asks you to drive the water truck or someone asks you to drive anything, you gotta go fast in it. So,
hey, listen, even if you don't run that well, you're still going faster than the guy sitting on the couch.
yeah,
you gotta look at it that way.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
So this is surreal for me because just seeing you as a little kid and now here on our show.
Yeah,
so we definitely want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, you've been a lot of fun. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
With everything that you do, and I know I'm going to be seeing a hell of a lot more from you in years to come.
I'll try. Thank you.
Cool. Gavan Boschele joins us on the Derek Prentice Show. I want to thank him for coming in, and as always, we'll see you the next time. Bye.